Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your September reading. Virgo season, fellow Earth sign. A lot of trining energies going on for you, which makes for movement, And we get the Eight of Wands coming out in the center of the reading, which is a card of movement and creation. We have dolphins here, which are symbols of creation and intelligence. They're symbols of communication as well. And there seems to be an accelerated area of your life, that doesn't make sense. An area of your life that is accelerating in terms of progress or change. Some of you are adapting more relaxation in your lifestyle. Some of you are adopting more pleasure. And thank goodness, because you guys definitely need it after the past couple of years that you've had. And this is kind of a non-stop kind of flow. I love that the ship is moving in the same direction as the dolphins. At least I think it is. I don't really know which direction that ship is moving, but I suspect it's moving in the same direction. And there's a sign. You may be actually starting to see a lot of symbols in your life, like the repeating numbers, 1111, 1122, 2211. You may be seeing synchronicities all over the place. Little things that happen that kind of confirm that you're on the right path. That's what happens with an Eight of Wands. It's like things just kind of come together in a really weird, unexplainable, quote, unexplainable kind of way. And what's really happening is your higher self or your future self is saying, yes, come this way. Yes, this is what you're supposed to do. Yes. And you seem to have a posse is kind of how I see this. You have people in your life. And I'm not going to say that this is the person that you may be if you're dealing with someone, right? It's not that person, it's all the other people that have your back. The one thing that I can say about Capricorn that I admire so much is if you ever need them, they are there for you 100%. They are all in. And their sense of duty and obligation, but not like a negative kind of obligation, but like, this is my obligation as a part of humanity, I need to do these good acts. I need to help because it is what humanity does for each other. You take it very seriously because of the Saturn rulership. And I feel as though now is a time for everyone that you've supported in your life to now begin to support you. And you're going to feel elevated or lifted up. And you're going to have doors opening, as we see with the Ace of Wands. I love this Ace of Wands with the purple robe and the fire. I like, this is a new deck, obviously. It's called the Mythic Tarot deck. I was traveling and forgot my card, so I went and bought a new deck. So I'm using it here while I'm here in Idaho. But I do like how this deck has the fire at the top of the wands. You can even see the wands on the ship there, how they have the fire. Because it is, spiritual. That fire within us, that passion within us, that heat within us. And you guys may feel, like you look back on your life and you're like, yeah, I really am driven by passion. I really had that great business idea and I just went for it. Or I really care so much about my family and I just went for it, But a lot of times you're not necessarily driven by passion, rather being driven by just doing the right thing. Two very different things. And I feel like this Ace of Wands represents the entrance of true passion into your life, where for the first time in a long time, not all of you, but for some of you for the first time in a long time, you're actually going to really start integrating the things that make you happy into your life on a consistent basis. Your lifestyle is going to begin to change, as we see with the world. Now, one thing I love about this card actually is the male and female both being integrated into one entity here in the center. I love that because it represents a unity or a collapse of our duality, the implosion of the paradox. You know, I said this in another reading, I think it was in Sagittarius maybe. Like, if you're not living a paradox, you know, you're not living in the middle. But eventually, that paradox does unite. And the world indicates that things are going to start coming together. It is a card that is ruled by Saturn, so it is a tough energy. You know, it does kind of push us through into this sort of new phase or new way of being, new way of thinking. It's kind of like a graduation. When we speak of ascension, it's, you know, making our way into the higher vibration, which is why you're going to probably start seeing a lot of synchronicities in your life as confirmation that, yes, this is the right way to go. Now we have the Hermit coming out as well. Interesting with this deck how the Hermit is somewhat connected with the death energy because he's got that scythe there, but still holding the lamp of wisdom, the lamp that enables us to see in the dark. Look, you haven't completely eliminated the drama from your life, okay, as we see, as indicated by the Seven of Wands here. So there is still stuff, you know. I have a feeling that my Capricorns are drawn toward the idea of simplicity. They're starting to incorporate or integrate, like I said before, this idea into their everyday existence. How can I live more simply? And I don't mean, you know, cheaply or, you know, bare bones. That's not what I mean. It's just, how can I eliminate all of the excess? You know, because I suspect you guys have been doing more than your fair share, as is per the norm for you guys. More than your fair share. And the Hermit, it's not a foreign energy for earth signs. You know, this is Virgo season, so Hermit mode makes a lot of sense. It's a time for us to go into our shell and introspect and just really think about stuff, you know, really think about what can be eliminated. You know, the Hermit is not a inactive thing. It's not an inactive place to be. It is a time for the internal work to be done. It's our internal housekeeping, or, you know, our spring cleaning. We can even say that. Fall cleaning. And it allows us to really scrub down our surfaces and to let our light shine. It can be hard, you know, because you do have to admit where you were wrong in certain things. You do have to admit where you made mistakes. You have to be honest with yourself about, you know, how the outside world was reflecting what was going on internally, you know, because that we all know that that's true. You have to acknowledge and to be truthful about what belief systems are no longer serving you, and you need to work on how to break those down and how to reprogram yourself to breaking bad habits, those kinds of things. I myself am trying to break the coffee habit, if I can say that. Trying to stop drinking coffee. It's hard for me because I enjoy it so much. But that's just kind of something that hermit mode is even all about. It doesn't have to be like huge, big, deep things, but it can be superficial things that are kind of getting in the way of the deeper work as well. Okay? And I love that the Empress is actually coming out representing your energy. Because I think that I said this back in, when was it? May, I believe, when Uranus entered into Taurus. Is that when it was? I don't remember exactly when it was. Where I said, you know, you guys, you've got pleasure, you've got fifth house stuff coming on the docket. You know, it's about creation. It's about allowing the energy to flow. It's about the ability to stop restricting yourself so much and really setting yourself free and all this beautiful stuff. And here's the epitome of creation coming out. The true essence of earth energy. Being able to plant seeds and to reap the benefit. Now, this season for all of us is a time to reap the harvest. We reap what we sow. So what have you sown? The Empress will tell you, because you're going to see the fruits of your labor right in front of you. Some of you did have to make some really difficult decisions this summer. You had to really put your foot down with people. You had to really be honest with people. You had to really fight for stuff. And I don't necessarily know that that's entirely over. But in a weird way, you have completely revolutionized the way you see this Seven of Wands. No longer are you a victim of it rather than someone who is elevated above it, you know, sitting on a mountaintop looking down and not being affected by it at all. You may still need to dedicate time and energy and effort to it. You can't just ignore it, right? Ignoring things simply because you don't want to give the energy to it is not necessarily spiritual if this is something that's, you know, affecting your life. You know, you got to clean up the mess. And so while you still have to deal with it, you can do so from an elevated perspective, from a more aware and a more conscious place. You don't need to lower your vibration to deal with lower vibrational situations or people. Sometimes it feels like we have to lower ourselves, though. I know. I get it. I understand. Seven of Wands is like the only card in this entire... You didn't even get any reversals in this reading at all, and there are reversals in the deck. So, I mean, Saturn going back direct this month, you know, things are going to be flowing more easily, hopefully, you know. Page of Cups is an indication. It's a nice complement to the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Wands, because you'll be hearing from someone, or there will be some kind of offer that comes through. This is a quiet thing. It's not like an ace. It's something that just sort of unfolds. It usually comes out of unexpected places. And it is a reflection of who you are. As you can see, this young, is it a boy or a girl? I don't know. This young child looking at his or her reflection in the cup. Looking inside. And that's what the Hermit is about, right? Looking inside. And when you begin to feel through the process of meditation, you begin to feel the abundance in your life. You begin to feel successful. You begin to feel in love. It doesn't have to be in love with a person, but in love. You can be in love with life. You can be in love with the ups and downs and the roller coaster, you know. And so when you feel those things, feel as though you are grateful for everything, that's how you change your vibration. I don't quote things very well. I don't remember things very well. But I know that there's a passage in the Bible somewhere. And it says something to the effect of, be surrounded by that which you seek, or something like that. To be surrounded. I remember that. To be surrounded. And it's that sense of beingness that you can only attain through meditation, you know, because if you look around and you're so realistic about everything and you take the magic out of it, then you're just going to be kind of in a negative place, being surrounded by this, and this is what you see, but you're so distracted by what you see that you forget your ability of what you can create. And that's the process of mental alchemy. And I feel like this Page of Cups will come, and it can come in the form of, you know, a romantic interest coming forward, especially with an Eight of Wands connection. It could be a new entrepreneurial idea or a new business, a new kind of ambition that you find for yourself. It can be travel opportunities. It can be all sorts of different things. And that those are going to manifest themselves and show up in your life based on what goes on when you're in the hermit mode. Based on how this transpires. Temperance is absolutely my favorite card in this entire deck, simply because I think I love the rainbow. And rainbow is a symbol of hope and even cleanliness. It's a symbol of light or the divine. I mean, it's a symbol of so many beautiful things. And as she pours the water from the gold cup into the silver cup, that is a sharing from the conscious to the subconscious and vice versa. The gold representing the sun, the silver representing the moon, the masculine, feminine. I mean, we have all the layers of duality coming into balance here, which we have even reinforced that idea with the World card, with the masculine and feminine integrating here. The masculine being the ambitious being, or the ambition itself, the masculine being the business ideas, the strategy, the logical steps of what we need to take, and the feminine being the creativity, being the intuition, being the vehicle through which new ideas come to you, and self-expression. Okay, so this is a really beautiful time for you, and I don't even necessarily feel like it's that heavy of a month. Again, we have all these beautiful planets trining with the earth stuff. Ten of Pentacles, couldn't get any better for a Capricorn reading. You are headed toward even further abundance. And I said this in another reading as well, that just because the deck of cards reaches a 10 of Pentacles doesn't mean there's not an 11, a 12, 13, 14, 15 of Pentacles. I mean, this just gets higher and higher and higher. This is merely the physical manifestation of peace. This is what temperance looks like on the outside. It looks like joy. It looks like connection, serenity. It looks like a full heart. And like I said, you have so many people around you that celebrate you, and they're going to start repaying favors. Not that you're asking for it, but they're there for you. They see you, and they care about you so much. And they'll be there for you just like you've been there for them. Oh, the first reversal, Four of Pentacles reverse, which is all about surrender and letting things go. You don't necessarily need to hang on to anything right now, to any structures in your life, to any belief systems. Now is the time when Capricorn needs to evolve. And through their evolution, they rebuild the structures. Now, keep in mind, we have this Saturn coming in contact with Pluto in January 2020. So there's a huge event happening in your sign in like a year and a few months. And so there's buildup. And that can probably either be one of the hardest planetary transits that people go through in their lifetime, or it can be one of the most revolutionary. And the people that are willing to go with the flow and to invite any and all changes into their life and to learn through meditation about what life is and about their life purpose and about their spirit and the spiritual nature of all humanity, they will just breeze right through that transit. They will just breeze through. This is an opportunity for you to say, okay, I'm ready to breeze through. I don't need more tough stuff. I'm ready to have learned the lesson. I'm ready to graduate. You know, like a master doesn't tell a student when they're finished. The student is like, okay, I'm ready, you know. And the Knight of Pentacles reversed. I do sense you're dealing with someone who is not necessarily on your spiritual level, okay? With the Seven of Wands, I did feel as though there was a presence that is not the most ascension friendly, okay? This is a Virgo energy, all right? We're getting a couple Virgo cards coming out. So let's just talk about this. It doesn't necessarily mean you're dealing with a Virgo, but everyone's kind of all encompassing that quality this month a little bit just because the sun's there. So because it's reversed, I do have, you know, there's a negative manifestation that comes through here. There could be a lot of criticism, a lot of projection, right? Because a reversed Knight of Pentacles cannot necessarily introspect as well, you know. Their sense of spirituality is stunted at this time. They might have some sort of delusional ideas that they're operating from and thereby projecting stuff onto you. But, I mean, I know that my tarot card readings, and I say this in a lot of the signs, you know, they're more geared toward people who are more spiritual in nature, people that care about their progress, who understand that they are here in this world to accomplish something and to make a difference. And this is not someone who operates that way. This is someone who's more reactive to their circumstances. They don't really think things through. They don't really necessarily connect the dots in their own life either. And again, their immaturity, it's almost as though actually your maturity, your evolved soul is just a reminder of how unevolved they are. And there could be projections of jealousy, Seven of Wands. There could be a lot of opinions and ideas, and they're trying to get you to do something or try to bully you around or whatever. But again, it's almost laughable because you can see right through that stuff. You can just see where it is they're really coming from. They're not as protected as they think they are. And so we'll clarify that in the comprehensive for sure. Clarify this one. We'll clarify the Ace of Wands and Page of Cups. And probably the World. So there is a lot to talk about further in the comprehensive. So I hope to see you guys there. If not, then I will see you next month. All right. Thanks so much. Take care.